Greetings, brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Hey, good evening. I'm going to wait 2 seconds till you guys tell me you can hear me okay. I'm sorry I'm late. I was out of town earlier today. I had like a 4-hour drive to get home. So I'm a bit tired, but I wanted to try and get on here. I wanted to try and do some lists. So we're going to do 5 lists tonight. Loud and clear, thanks Mike. But welcome. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be starting tonight's list with a crazy list from Phil. I see Phil in chat already. But welcome to the Blood Angels Army List show. We do this pretty much every Sunday night. We usually kick off about an hour 45 earlier, or an hour and a half earlier. But yeah, so it's a late one tonight. We'll be live for just over an hour or something like that. Then I'm going to go and get ready for work. So we're not going to spend too much time at the start chatting. But hello, Hangmaster. Hello Peter, hello Phil, hello Alex, Highland Phoenix in the house, PK Rojo, Marius, good evening, Bearded Coyote, nice to see you, Mark Matthews, hello. So many green names in chat, thanks so much for the support. Dragon Shinobi is here very early as well. Cool, I think I said hello to everybody. Alright, let's get started. We're going to be talking about Phil, and I think tonight we're actually going to do a few lists that are not, believe it or not, Rage Cursed Onslaught. We're actually going to start with an Orbital strike list. If you haven't watched the video I did a couple of weeks ago, Orbital strike list is the new Deep Strike detachment, where you can put any 3 units you want into Deep Strike, including things like Land Raiders or Redemptor Dreadnoughts. So that's what I want to try, I think, Redemptor Dreadnoughts and Deep Strike. But anyway, it's a shenanigans list. We're giving Deep Strike to a Redeemer and 2 Vindicator tanks. Cool. We've got Assault Centurions inside the Redeemer. We've got Hellblasters and Drop Pods. We've got Intercessors and Impulsors. Both Lieutenants and the Hellblasters. And the Phobos Librarian is with Infiltrators. Enhancements on the Librarian let me use Scout and Infiltrate to push my opponent to my deployment zone and then redeploy them into safe positions. The plan is for the Redeemer to be rapid ingressed. Then it can move up and unload the Centurions into charge range on the next turn. Rapid Ingress Redeemer sounds pretty fun. Could be a counter-charge threat as well with the Flamers, right? I plan on dropping 1 Drop Pod and 1 Vindicator in turn 2, and then the second in each of turn 3. Hopefully clearing lines of fire on targets. I was going to say, if you don't have any Blood Angels units, I guess this could actually end up being a +1 to Oath Ultramarine style list if you don't have anything Blood Angels. I've got a feeling there's not going to be anything Blood Angels in this list. So we have a Librarian in Phobos armor. We have a Lieutenant ×2, so they'll be for the Hellblasters to give them lethal hits, fall back and shoot. We have a squad of Intercessors for sticky objectives. We have 2 Drop Pods. We have an Impulsor. We have 1 squad of Jump Pack Intercessors. We have a small Centurion. I feel like if you're going to go big on the Land Raider Redeemer, you should go big on the Centurion squad, but I guess they don't fit. What is the capacity of a Land Raider Redeemer these days? Is it 16? I really think they should have just made it 20. Not 20, excuse me. I think they should have made it 18, because then it would have been like a full squad of Centurions. That would have been cool. It is indeed... Oh, it's only 14 on the Redeemer. Okay. So if you put 3 Centurions inside, that takes up 9 of 14 slots. We've got 2 10-man squads of Hellblasters, plus the Lieutenants in each of the Drop Pods. We've got a squad of Infiltrators. We've obviously got that Redeemer that's going to Deep Strike. We've got 2 Vindicators that are going to Deep Strike. And we've got Scouts. So yeah, I guess this list is going to benefit from you have no Blood Angel specific models in this list. So you're getting +1 to wound on your Oath target. You got a unit of Scouts. You got 2 Vindicators that you're going to drop in. I feel like this... And then the weird thing about this detachment is on the turn you set up on the battlefield, they reroll wound rolls of 1. I need to read the exact wording on that. Orbital Orbital assault force. Each time it starts its model from your army makes an attack. If it was set on the battlefield this turn, reroll wounds of 1. That's interesting though, right? Because that technically means that if you rapid ingress the Redeemer and you move close to it, you'd be rerolling 1s on the auto-hitting heavy flamers. Okay. So the Vindicator tanks will be strength 14, rerolling 1s, +1 to wound into the oath target. So the Vindicator tanks are just very strong. Hellblasters on the turn they arrive, again, they've got lethal hits, they're rerolling 1s to wound. They can get +1 to wound again on the oath target, that's very good. We've got scouts. Drop pods are a weird one because they can't control objectives now, right? So drop pods are just dead space after you drop them. They're just wasted points. Am I missing something? Is there anything a drop pod can do once it's been dropped? Because it used to have a gun on it. They removed the gun, right? So what does a drop pod get you after it's dropped? I guess it scores you something like Display of Might. But apart from like Display of Might, or I guess can it score Area Denial? Like what can a drop pod do beyond maybe like some niche secondary? Anything? Nothing? You could use it to block some movement lanes. Yeah, I suppose you could block enemy tanks with it. Okay. So 2 10-man squads of Hellblasters with +1 to wound, rerolling 1s to wound. A Redeemer with potentially +1 to wound, rerolling 1s to wound. 2 Vindicator tanks with that as well. You can smoke near the drop pods. So you've got a unit of infiltrators in the backfield, you've got a sticky objective unit, we've got a unit of scouts. Yeah, I mean I think it's probably cool. I was trying to picture how I was going to run Orbital Detachment or Orbital Strike Force. And I think probably the way to do it is something like this, with like 2 Vindicator tanks and a Redeemer, or triple Redemptor Dreadnought. Like, would triple Redemptor Dreadnought be better? Like, because the thing is, let's say you go triple Redemptor, and turn 2, you just go boom, boom, boom. There's 3 Redemptors 9 inches from you. I'm going to try and charge with all of them. That could be cool. Again, Redemptors are probably much better with Ultramarines because you get +1 to wound. But then I guess bringing in Centurions can also be kind of cool. I mean, Centurions aren't going to benefit from the... They aren't going to benefit from the reroll 1s to wound anyway because their weapons are twin-linked. Triple Redemptor would be sick. I think it would definitely make people feel pressured. Do you need OC to score engage? No, I think your unit just needs to not be battle shocked, Marius. Oh, this website doesn't tell you the... Oh, that wasn't what was on my clipboard. Engage. I'm pretty sure it's just... Oh, that's an old engage. This is the new one. What's going on tonight? Click one graphic and just it opens up something completely different. Yeah. Oh, I can probably get it on Wappy, yeah. I don't know why drop pod is on my clipboard, because I'm pretty sure chapter approved 2025-26. Yeah, that's what we're looking at. Engage on all fronts. One unit for army, excluding aircraft and battleshock units. You don't need to have OC. And that's what I was saying. Like, you wouldn't need to have OC for, I think, area denial. I assume a drop pod can't perform an action. Or can it? I don't know. I don't play drop pods, man. Can a drop pod perform an action? Surely not. I don't even know where I'd find that in the rules. Clarify for me, Phil. But yeah, I mean, I think Orbital the Strike Force will be like a quirky, fun list. I don't know if it's going to be overly competitive. Actions need OC. Thanks, Jason. I thought so. But I think it has a lot of potential to do pressure, right? Like if you've got 2 drop pods with a ton of Hellblasters, you got 2 Vindicator tanks and a Redeemer in reserve. That's a lot of pressure you can apply to enemy front lines. Whether or not that pressure will win you the game, I suppose it depends on how much killing you can get done. But it'd be difficult for your opponent to screen that pressure. And I guess if they leave weaknesses or if they leave key targets exposed, you can do a lot of damage. So I think it's a cool idea. I'd like to try Orbital Assault Force. I just haven't worked out what my list is going to be for it. I've been working on a Ball Predator conversion kit this week, so I've sort of converted a Ball Predator so I can have 2 of them. But yeah, no, it sounds fun, Phil. Let me know how you get on with it. I think Dreadnoughts might make the most sense, but I can see why you would take Vindicator tanks. I can see why you would take Land Raiders with people inside them. I mean, it was almost like it used to be a fun thing that Blood Angels can do where we could have Land Raiders. They can score anything that is a unit in a space. Yeah, so if you just drop a drop pod right in the middle of the battlefield, if you ever pull like, whatever it's, Area Denial. Yeah, Area Denial is the one where you have to like take the middle. You can score with the drop pod there. Cool. Alright, It's Bloodlines is the next list tonight. He is playing their more familiar Rage, Cursed, Onslaught, Jumpy Boys. We have Astrath in this list. I think I need to do a video on Astrath at some point to see if he is worth it versus the Chaplain. I think Astrath is probably going to... he's probably going to do less damage than the Chaplain into a lot of situations. But if you roll a bunch of 6s, he's going to be very good, obviously, because Devastating Wounds. You have a Captain with a jump pack with a sustained enhancement. You've got Mephiston, Dante, and Lamartis. So, arguably our 3 strongest characters at the moment. Intercessors, 2 sticky. 2 units of jump intercessors. I'm somewhat off jump intercessors in Rage Cursed Onslaught. I think I prefer the idea of using multiple small squads of Sangry Guard. We have 1 Death Company Dreadnought, we have 1 Ball Predator. Death Company Dreadnought has really made a resurgence, or it's really getting a lot of play in this detachment. I think I might try it on the stream on Wednesday night this week. I personally might do double Ball Predator, double Death Company Dreadnought to see how that goes. We then have 20 Jump Death Company, and I mean that makes sense. That's very popular right now. We have 6 Sangry Guard. They'll be attached to Dante. They can do a lot. Oh, well, do you know what? They're probably attached actually to the Captain, and Dante is actually probably attached to the 10 Vanguard Veterans with Infernal Pistols. So we've got 10 Vanguard Veterans, we've got 20 Death Company, we've got 1 Ball, we've got 1 Death Company Dreadnought, we've got some Jump Intercessors, we've got some Sangard, we've got some Sticky Objectives, we've got Mephiston for Lone Operative, and then we've got Astrath and Lamartis each leading 10 Death Company. Yeah, I mean, it was really not a bad list. The thing that's obviously winning tournaments is giving the Chaplain that's leading the Death Company the Scout 6 enhancement. Like, I feel like that's probably more reliable and a better choice than Astrath. I also think it's possibly a better choice in this detachment to try and get rid of some of your Jump Intercessors and just replace them with 3-man squads of Sangard. Because I think 3-man squads of Sangard, they're probably more survivable than Jump Intercessors. They probably do more damage. They're probably easier to hide. The reason we used to take Jump Intercessors is because they're cheap and cheerful and they trade well, but I think 3-man Sangard probably trade with those small units just as well. Are we seeing trends in new lists? Yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing people move away a little bit from Jump Intercessors, and I think we're actually seeing some people running the 3 squads of 3 Sangard in Rage Cursed Onslaught. That seems to be popular. So I think I'm probably going to try that. And we're also seeing people running 20 Death Company. So 20 Death Company is very standard, usually read by a chaplain and the Martas. The 10 Dante with Vanguard Veterans, I think, is totally it's a totally valid stratagem, or it's totally valid strategy with a lot of Infernal Pistols. He's put 5 Storm Shields with the unit. I assume it would be 5 Infernal Pistols. I mean, that's the way you make this unit good. So maybe he hasn't specified that, but a lot of Infernal Pistols is what make that Vanguard Veteran squad good. And then we're usually seeing Blood Angels run a lone op. It's weird he spelt Vitaris wrong. But some people are still running the Lone Operative Lieutenant. Some people might run a Calidus Assassin. I can understand why you take Mephiston. He's a little bit more durable. He maybe lets you... like Mephiston maybe just lets you tank up a little bit better. He's hard. More people need to commit with him. I did a video recently, dude, about Dante plus the 10 Vanguard Veterans. It's on the channel. I think it was in December, right? Like, if you just go onto the channel, which is like youtube.com/c/Blood Angels Commander, and click videos, and this will just sort by latest, excuse me. Yeah, look, Dante plus 10 Vanguard Veterans. Like, I did that video about that 2 months ago. Is it worth 310 points? I think they maybe put it up a tiny bit in points since that video, but I mean, most of the logic in the video will still be sound, right? Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think this is probably a kind of a somewhat standard Rage Cursed list. I think the thing that I'm seeing with Rage Cursed, and I think the thing that I'm probably going to lean in towards myself, is like more small squads of Sanguinary Guard, less jump intercessors, and then probably try and keep the 20 Death Company, and probably... I mean, this is good, 1 Death Company Dreadnought and 1 Ball Predator, but I kind of feel the best lists are doing 2 Ball Predators and or 2 Death Company Dreadnoughts. So I'm not sure about splitting with different units. Oh yeah, and somebody, you're right, PK, somebody did 6 Blade Guard plus Lieutenant on foot, because that gets a fucking crazy amount of attacks. Because Blade Guard, I think, get 5 attacks. So if you go Rage Cursed, it's 7 attacks per model. If you give them a Lieutenant, I think that means you get 42 attacks with lethals, and you can reroll your hits of 1. So you just make a crap load of lethal hits. I'm not sure, like, I haven't really played Blade Guard myself much without Impulsors, because, like, I quite like them inside the Impulsor, because I think the Impulsor moves quite fast, and you get a lot of value out of them. But, I mean, maybe there's something to be said about, like, just start 6 Blade Guard on the board and just run them. Like, just run them turn 1 towards the middle. Try and get into cover, run them from cover to cover. Like, the Impulsor is good, but it's also 80 points. I don't think I've seen anyone yet run, like, Rage Cursed with, like, 3 Impulsors. But you could probably do 3 Impulsors, all full of Blade Guard, each one with Lieutenant. And that would be you know, like, if in turn 2 you could unload those 3 Impulsors and make 3 charges, that would be an insane amount of attacks coming out at AP2 or even AP3. And with lethal hits, you could just kill anything. Yeah, you know, I've been to a few tournaments now with an Impulsor, and I think Impulsors are very good for Blood Angels. I mean, I think they're good for combat armies where your units aren't super durable, and I think that's probably where Blood Angels stand. I mean, you can argue that Blood Angels can just jump from terrain piece to terrain piece with their jump packs, but you do sometimes need, like, quite durable units to sit on objectives, and Blade Guards can achieve that just because they've got the invulnerable save, and 3 wounds per model is also pretty nice. Okay, let's move on. The next list is actually by PK Arjo. Hello, dude. Thank you for submitting a list. I think I said at the start of the stream, the way you submit the list for the show is very simple. you just literally, at the end of the stream, you put your list into the comment section. Just like this, just export it from the Warhammer app or whatever program you're using. In this case, I guess it was War Organ. So just put your list as a text file or as a text comment into the stream and we'll get you on a future video. Simple as that, right? Okay. Hey Commander, I've been feeling more confident with my rage lists. I'm working on several problems against heavy vehicle centered list, Astra Militarum, Sisters of Battle, Tau are a real pain for me. Any advice to help me in my crusade? Astra Militarum and Sisters of Battle are usually pretty hoardy, right? Like they put a lot of models on the board. They can be kind of hard to deal with, I guess. And then Tau can kind of screen you a little bit and shoot you a little bit. So yeah, I mean, one of the things that someone said to me is like, if you're going into another combat army, and I guess Sisters and Militarum aren't combat heavy, and neither are Tau, but in combat armies, having the fight on death CP for the death company is really, really good. Against an army that's going to shoot you a lot, that's going to be difficult, right? I know Sisters can bring a crap load of flamers. Tau will obviously have a ton of really high AP. Those armies are hard to deal with, like, I think, if you go all melee. And that's just the trade-off. You need to be making charges, and you need to be fully killing units, ideally. Are the Sangre Guard going unled? Yeah, I think a bunch of people are running, like, 3 squads of 3 unled. I think that's probably what I would do in my next... So I guess for Wednesday night, I need to build a new Rage Cursed list now that I've played 9 games with Rage Cursed. And see if I can build something that's a little bit stronger. And I think probably I might switch to 3 units of unled death 3 units of unled Sangre Guard in 3s, yeah. I've learned, especially if he's the new Catan spam, that damage 3 or dedicated las cannons or high strength damage weapons are basically required, since -1 damage is a death sentence to Blood Angels. Yeah, the new Catan, there's like 5, all 5 Catan got new rules. They're all toughness 11. They're all -1 damage with a 5-up feel no pain. That is very, very difficult for us to deal with, because -1 damage, literally halves their damage, and the 5-up feel no pain, with when they've all got lots of wounds. They also have a 4-up. They also have the 4-up in Vun. So yeah, I think Catan are going to be they're going to be a real stat check for Blood Angels. I mean, you could argue this is why you take Vindicator tanks. But also las cannons would be good against Catan, right? Because they're all toughness 11, so las cannons still wound them on 3s. Yeah, I think Catan are just going to be very hard to deal with. I haven't had the pleasure of fighting the new 5 Catan, 6 Catan list, but it looks horrific. If you've not seen it, you should probably check it out on Warhammer Community. It's scary. Let's just put it at that. All right. So we've got a Rage Curse list with the 2 units of Jump Intercessors. We've got a captain with the Jump Pack with Fight First. We've a captain with the Sustain 2 enhancement. We've a chaplain with the Crozius and Infernal Pistol, and we have Dante. We then have 20 Death Company, a 10 and 2 5s. We have 2 Gladiator Lancers. I mean, that's sort of what you want against the Catan, right? D6 plus 3 damage. They fail an invuln save, and you can just nuke them. The Intercessors for sticky objectives. Lamartis lead the 10-man Death Company. The 3 units of Sangre Guard. I think in this case they will actually be led. Like, I guess Dante's probably going to lead one of them, and a captain with the jump packs, or the 2 captains with the jump packs are probably going to lead the other 2. The thing is, you don't have to. I mean, the captains are probably pretty good bang for buck for like 80 points. But I mean, you can just run the 3 units Sangre Guard unled. So it's Lamartis with 10 Death Company, a chaplain with 5 Death Company, an unled Death Company, and then 2. All 3 units of Sangre Guard are led by characters. I mean, 3-man units of Sangre Guard, I think it's fine. You could limb for limb them. They can do a decent bit of damage. the 2 Lancers gives you that like gives you some fire support, especially if you're fighting like those Catan that we talked about. Like 2 Lancers with a bit of luck could drop a Catan in 1 turn. Like that is a possibility. He fails 2 invuln saves. You roll double 6, all of a sudden it's 18 damage or something. Even with his -1 damage and his feel no pain, I mean, there's a chance you could almost cripple a Catan in one turn with the 2 Lancers. So I don't mind the Lancer picks. I think you're gonna struggle a bit with this list with like board control because you don't really have too much of it, and you're also gonna struggle a little bit with actions because you don't really have many units for actions except the except maybe the jump intercessors, the 2 units of jump intercessors. I mean, that's fine if you want to dedicate those units to doing actions. That is a thing you can do, right? They move fast enough, at least with 12 inches. BBS Photography asked, is Astaroth coming more relevant than Lamartes in order to devastate wound Catan? Catan's still -1 the devastating wounds, right? Because devastating wounds are not mortal wounds. So you don't get to ignore -1 damage because you're doing devastating wounds. So is Astaroth more relevant? I mean, maybe a little bit because they don't get to save. But I think in general, the -1 damage that Lamartes gives is just it's seen much more favorably by Blood Angels players. You know, like I was playing Drukhari, and Drukhari, literally every single fucking weapon they have is 2 damage. They're all like AP1, AP2. They're really designed. It feels like they're really designed to just kill Marines. Like Marines are going out of fashion, and I think that's the sort of unit that Lamartes is good with, and or Hellblasters. Hellblasters overcharged are also really nasty against Marines, typically wounding on 2s. So like, you know, hitting on 3s or 2s dependent, wounding on 2s. It's really, really nasty. So -1 damage from Lamartes is also seen as a favourable choice. So I think Lamartes is the better choice than Astaroth in general. But I guess if you feel like you can roll a lot of 6s and you want to risk you want to add a little bit of risk to your play, then I don't think Astaroth's a bad choice at all. Okay, we're going to move on. Next list. Is there anything that I would improve on this list? Yeah, I probably just wouldn't attach quite as many characters to the Sanguine Guard. And I possibly wouldn't run quite so many jump intercessors. I guess he's got scouts as well. I think Rage Cursed Onslaught really lends itself well to the Ball Predator. And I think some people are obviously doing Death Company Dreadnought as well. I feel a little bit sad that we don't have a Ball Predator in there. And I also feel like I didn't think jump intercessors were very useful in this detachment, honestly. Because they're just hitting at strength 4. Even with reroll 1s to wound, I just feel like strength 4 is a bit, you know, anything like T8 and above, you're wounding on 6s. So quite often you're wounding on 5s, rerolling 1s, and sometimes you're wounding on 6s, rerolling 1s. And when you're wounding on 6s, rerolling 1s, it doesn't matter that you've got 20 plus attacks. You only roll like 2 6s. And then they save one of them, so you do like 1 damage. It's pretty tragic. Okay. Next list for tonight, we're looking at Mike Paints Red. So he's actually still playing Angelic Inheritors. Cool. So not too many people are playing Angelic Inheritors. Let's have a look at stat check and try and see if there's win rates up for this last week for Blood Angels. If you don't know what stat check is, they're a big YouTube channel, and they publish this really handy website that shows you win rates and stats and stuff for the different detachments. All right, so wow, it's a little bit higher than I thought it would be. 55% of Blood Angels players, Blood Angels have a 55% win rate if you're playing Rage Cursed Onslaught. 37 players played it, 55% win rate. That's really good. And it's 4-0 event start. That means you start the event winning 4 games, losing none. Is 8%. So like 1 out of every 12 players playing Rage Cursed Onslaught is going 4-0. So yeah, it's a really good detachment. Someone, maybe it is Phil. Maybe Phil played Orbital Strike. A couple of people. Do you know what? 15 people still played Liberator Assault Group. It's really dropped. It's down to less than a 40% win rate. And then only 7 players played Angelic Inheritors. And its win rate went even lower. It's actually the lowest win rate right now. 31%. That's rough. So Rage Cursed is... I mean, it makes sense a lot of people are playing Rage Cursed, right? Like, its win rate is close to double Angelic Inheritors. We're getting nerfed. Are we though? Because like Necrons. Let's have a look. Pathian of Woe, that new Catan detachment, has a 67% win rate. Maybe they could be nerfed first. How about that? 27% of players play. So 1 in 4 players playing that Catan detachment are starting the event 4-0. 1 in 4. More than 1 in 4. It's pretty good, that Catan detachment. Pretty good, I'd say. But I mean, they have others, right? Awakened Dynasty, 61%. Cursed Legions, 61%. They have multiple detachments that I've got. All have like 10 plus players, 60%. Cool. Deathwatch. I bet you some of the Deathwatch players are playing that new Battle Line detachment. Apparently Deathwatch playing Black Spear Task Force are also at 65%. So the win rates for this edition, you know how they try and keep them between 55 and 45? They're not doing the greatest job. And look at these poor fucking agents, man. Like, Jesus. Not many people are playing agents, but they're getting slaughtered. Okay. So we're running Angelic Inheritors. We've got a Jump Captain with a Hand Flamer, a Power Fist, and the Blazing Icon, which means no Overwatch. She's with 6 Sanguinary Guard. We have Lamartas with 10 Jump Death Company. We have a Lieutenant with a Power Fist and 10 Hellblasters. We have Judasar with the 6-inch Scout Move and Fight First and an Impulsor. We have a Chaplain with 3 Blade Guard. We have a Mephiston. We have a Combi Weapon Lieutenant. We have a Reaper. A Reaper feels like a reach because no one's running Gladiator Reapers. It's got some rule that might make it okay, but no one's really running it. It's got like sustained 2 against infantry, and its ranged weapon is like a heavy onslaught cannon with no AP. Yeah, I really don't rate it at all. The Reaper. You get 6 shots. Oh, sorry, you get 12 shots. So it's potentially twin linked. So you roll 12 dice, you get 2 6s, you re-roll another 10, you get another 1.5 6s. So it does like 3.5 mortal wounds. Maybe 4 if you're a little bit lucky. You can get sustained 2 into infantry. You could fish for 6s. So, I mean, maybe it can do 10 mortal wounds on a very lucky day, but I don't know if I rate it. I mean, 10 mortal wounds is not too bad, but I feel like you're going to have to use Oath, you're going to have to fish, you're going to have to get a bit of luck. I don't really like playing things that I think that require luck. I mean, quite often your Vindicator tank can do more than 10 damage, right? You shoot your Vindicator tank, they fail 3 or 4 saves, you roll the damage, and it's like, hey, just take 15 damage from the Vindicator tank. The Reaper should really have 1 AP on the main cannon. I think so. I think that would probably make it a lot better. Dazman said he played Orbital in a casual game last week. It's fun, and there's some interesting stratagems. I took Astaroth because it would be fun to give 10 Death Company precision and devs. Oh yeah, I guess you could do precision dev and just about kill anything. Cool. We have a squad of intercessors for sticky objectives. We have incursors to get +1 to hit in shooting. We don't really have much shooting here, do we, Mike? 10 Hellblasters. And then we have 5 jump intercessors with plasma pistols and power fists. I played Angelic Inheritors for damn near a year. I think that it's a shooting detachment primarily, and you finish stuff off in melee combat. The reason I think this is because you get no extra attacks on the charge, and you get no extra strength on the charge. So the main detachment rule doesn't really benefit you any more so than it would if you're a shooting unit, right? Because you reroll ones if you're led by a character, you reroll wounds of one. So yeah, I feel like the best performance I've ever seen from Angelic Inheritors was the Jack Harpster list at LVO, and he did that with about 800 points of shooting, if I remember correctly, because he had 9 Inceptors, a Devastator squad, and 2 Vindicator tanks. I think 9 Inceptors is probably 350 points, 2 Vindicator tanks is 370 points, and the Devastator squad's like 120, and actually attached a character to them, so it was more like 190. So I think he had like 900 points of shooting. I think that's the best we've ever seen. I think it's the best tournament we've ever seen Angelic Inheritors do. So the best I've done when I've been running Angelic Inheritors is aim for like 900 points of shooting, and I feel like if you don't have that much shooting, that detachment kind of falls off a bit, because you don't kill things in melee efficiently because you don't have any extra attacks or any extra strength. So this is your current list, having won 8 games. So you've won 8 games, cool. Ultramarines, Salamanders, Knights. Knights would have been a tough matchup, so would Guards, so would Tau. The plan is to deploy a Scouting, Blade Guard, and the Impulsor, move them forward. The second Blade Guard squad are deployed close enough to be able to get first jump out with the Impulsor when it moves. We've got Mephiston to back that up. We've got Combi Weapon Lieutenant to get on an objective if it's suitable. I have Jump Pack Intercessors in reserve, but I deploy the Sangre Guard Brick in my back corner on my home field objective for a turn 1 lift up. Apart from the Blade Guard shenanigans, not a lot of moves aggressively turn 1. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Angelic Inheritors isn't an aggressive detachment. You sit and you try and counter punch. The Death Company mostly hang back, jump, staging to cover. I will have deployed the Hellblaster Brick close to my incursors, and again only move to stage. I usually need my opponent to move out of cover to be most effective. Popping the sustained hit strat on these is really useful, because they can hit on 2s, I guess, because of the incursors, and they also have lethals. Jump Pack Infantry pop down with for a secondaries warrant, with a Sangre Guard Brick coming down somewhere useful to stage if I can. I might Rapid Ingress, but I've been known to just put them back down where they started. And they can protect my home field if the Intercessors have gone charging forward, because I'm full of Black Rage. The Gladiator tends to move towards the middle and Daka away at infantry, but can be useful against vehicles just with weight of fire. Sometimes the Incursors lend their +1 hit instead of the Hellblasters. Yeah, I mean, the strategy sounds strong enough. I just feel like... maybe into certain matchups you struggle. I suppose it's a hard one to call, right? Like, I can show you my White Scar Stormhawk for next time, says Lord Grandmaster. Cool. Yeah, I mean, send me a picture of your Stormhawk. That'd be cool to see. I'm trying to think. I haven't played Angelic Inheritors now for like 2 months because I've been playing Rage Cursed. But I feel like if this was me and I'm playing it, and I'm playing Angelic Inheritors, I feel like I've got to have Plasma Inceptors. And I've got to just cut something to get those Plasma Inceptors in there. Because I think sometimes you come into nasty targets that you can't deal with. Blade Guard, like... if you come into a lot of Tyrannid monsters where everything's toughness 10 or more, or you come into like, I think I played World Eaters, where World Eaters have like a Lord of Skulls, which is toughness 13. Like, I had huge problems with toughness 13 in Angelic Inheritors. Like, I just felt like I couldn't kill it. My Blade Guard, even with +1 to wound, were they just bounced off it. They just did nothing against the Lord of Skulls. Like, best case, they did like 6 damage to it. I think Lord of Skulls has like 24 wounds or something. It was pretty horrific. How many wounds does Lord of Skulls have? Now, you could argue that, like, you know, it's an edge case. You might not have to play against the Lord of Skulls, but, like, I think there is, like, if the opponent is a really high toughness army, Angelic Inheritors melee is not good enough to deal with that. You have the one stratagem that will give you lands, but it's only once per game. I suppose I haven't played Angelic Inheritors since Sangre Guard got given land, like their lance weapons got better. So you could argue, well, you know what, we'll just give lance, you know, we'll give the Sangre Guard all the lance weapons, and maybe then we can use +1 to wound on the Death Company, or we could use +1 to wound more frequently on the Blade Guard. But yeah, I think it's a really tough match, man. Like, and I really think that the thing that I found, or the thing that I thought that elevated Angelic Inheritors to the next level, is the sustained plasmas, Inceptors, because you can put the Inceptors back in reserve. So they can drop down, you can drop them down far enough away to hopefully shoot a target, annihilate it, and then in your turn pick them back up. And I think that's the high level play that most people were doing with this detachment to get the maximum value out of it. And I think if you're not doing that, you're probably struggling to hit those high. I think there's definitely going to be matchups where you're going to struggle to hit those high tables at events. Because I think, I'm trying to think, I lost a game to Eldari at an event. Or it wasn't Eldari. Well, it was Eldari, but it was like Yunari. And I felt like I just needed the Plasma Inceptors and my Angelic Inheritors, because I needed to be able to drop, like, Yunari or Eldar are going to screen the entire board, so there's no opportunities for, like, jump units to come in 9 inches away and make charges. It just doesn't exist. So if you've got jump units in reserve, you're going to be bringing them down on your side of the battlefield. They're not really going to add any value to you. Whereas the 6-inch Deep Strike from the Inceptors, that can come down, that can clear a whole unit of chaff, and then it can make space for other units to come in, and it can go back into reserve. So that's what I think can elevate Angelic Inheritors. But, you know, like, I never got beyond 3-2 at a tournament in Angelic Inheritors. That was the best I did. I think I came unstuck 2 times. So, but then I never risked it, and I never took the Plasma Inceptors to the tournament. And it was after those events I started playing the Plasma Inceptors, and I was like, yeah, I really think that I think they're the unit that elevate that detachment to the next level. I think in a lot of detachments, there's one unit that's just bonkers good, and I think for Angelic Inheritors it's Plasmas. And like I said, even though you would in your head think it's a melee detachment, it's a detachment that needs to do an awful lot of shooting. You're working on Plasma Inceptors. Well, I recommend you get 6 together and try them as soon as you humanly can, because it'll make a big difference, I think. Thanks for the list, Mike. I appreciate you sending it in. Alright, next list. RFB Hadley. I've got a list here. It's for a Teams event coming up. Apparently I'm going to be looked after in terms of the matchups, but I'm really worried about having no lancers or any real shooting. Advice would be awesome. I've gone lag because I'm more familiar with it. The event's in late February. Again, I'm not super comfortable with it, so some advice would be awesome. Alright. Lag. Interesting you've gone lag. It's our worst performing detachment by quite a large amount at the moment. We have the Rage Captain. He'll be on foot. I imagine he's going to be inside an Impulsor. We have a Captain of the Jump Pack with Fight First. We have Dante. We have another Fight First character and a Combi Weapon Lieutenant. We have a unit of Assault Intercessors on foot. I imagine they're with this Captain. And we have a squad of Intercessors. The reason to be with the Captain is so we can reroll some wound rolls. We have the Impulsor. So the Captain and Assault Intercessors and the Impulsor. I'd put the Shield Dome, by the way, on the Impulsor. Like, a fucking extra Sky Talon does nothing. Just get the Shield Dome on the Impulsor for the 5-up invuln. I don't even know what a Sky Talon array does, but I imagine it's like a few strength 4 attacks. Maybe it's a single missile, but whatever it is, just get the fuck rid of it. Yeah, it's like 8 strength 4 hits with no AP. Cool, just get rid of it. Take the shield dome. Trust me, you're going to want a 5-up invuln on the impulsor. Sometimes that can be really meaningful. You know, like sometimes it just means the impulsor tanks like 2 las cannon shots. Not a scratch. Much better than a strength 4 0 AP gun, in my opinion. You've got 3 units of jump intercessors. Jump intercessors are very good in this detachment. They're probably one of the best units in lag. You could run 25 of them, honestly. Strength 6, impact mortals, lots of chainsword attacks. It's good. You've got 6 blade guard, again, very good unit in lag. You've got a square of infiltrators for the backfield. You've got 12 sanguinary guard, a 6, the 3, and the 3. Some with spears, some with blades, that's fine. 2 units of scouts for scoring, and a Khalid assassin. You're a little bit heavy here, right? Like, I don't typically feel like I need 2 units of scouts and an assassin. And bear in mind, you do have 3 units of jump intercessors. Jump intercessors are also a unit that will do some scoring because they don't always need to fight. I mean, although they can fight, they're not the best fighting unit. So you've got like 6 units that are going to do scoring. You've got 12 sanguinary guard. You've got a unit of infiltrators. You've got the 1 unit of blade guard. So, and then you've got that captain unit in the impulsor and a bunch of fight firsts. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like if this was me, considering you've got, like you said, you've got no shooting whatsoever, you don't have a ton of hard-hitting melee, right? You've got 6 sanguinary guard, that's a hard-hitting unit. You've got 6 blade guard, that's quite a hard-hitting unit. But that's it. You know, there's no 10-man death company here with Lamartas, which has been proven to be one of the best units. There's 6 things that can do scoring, and also there's a lot of characters here, like the Calidus. You've got 2 lone operatives, that's like 170. You've got another Judasar and Dante, which is another 190, 360. And then the 2 characters here. So, yeah, I mean, it feels like you're just under 600 points on characters. That seems really high as well. I usually try and keep my lists much, much lower in characters. My current list is at 180, 310. I mean, I guess my current list's about 450. But I think when I was running a little while before I was running my Fiston, when I was running like my tournament winning list, I was only at like 350. So it seems like possibly 1 too many characters, possibly 1 too many units of jump pack infantry. I feel like infiltrators and intercessors kind of gonna both do the same thing. They're gonna hang out in your backfield. Fair enough that intercessors can sticky and then move off for another objective, but like it's a lot. You know, you're spending 180 points on the backfield where you could probably get away with just spending 80 maybe. Like if yeah. And then 3 units of jump intercessors and 2 units of scouts and an assassin just feels like probably too much as well. I was talking this week about like so you're the most familiar with lag, cool. So, and you're wanting to run all melee with lag, cool. I don't know if we've seen too many people win tournaments with all melee and lag, but the ones that we have seen, we're doing like 25 jump intercessors, a 10, and a 5. They're attaching a chaplain for +1 to wound to some of the squads, because then your strength 6 with +1 to wound means that your wound rolls become 4s against a lot of things. We've also seen people do Dante plus a 10 Vanguard veterans with lots of pistols. That can be good. I don't mind your sanguinary guard configurations, like some with like the rage cursed, some with like fight first. But I do think that like if this was me, I'd probably be like, I definitely feel like if I'm taking a combi weapon lieutenant and a squad of scouts, that would be me, right? One squad of scouts, one combi weapon lieutenant. The combi weapon lieutenant is hard for your opponent to lock down, so I'll be moving him back, reactive moving, he's stealth. He can definitely like control an objective on the side field or even in the middle sometimes. The scouts can come off on the board. If I need something else to do actions, then I would be doing it with one of these units of jump intercessors on the impulsor. And then, instantly that saves potentially 170 points there. If we could lose one of the characters, I don't think you need to have 3 fight firsts. Did I make that wrong? It's not 3 fight firsts, sorry, it's 2 fight firsts. You've got the fight first on one of the squads of Sanguinary Guard, probably. You've got the fight first on the Blade Guard. I don't know if you need that many fight firsts. I mean, you could. But I think that you're at a point where, like, you've probably got one too many characters. You probably need to make a decision between, like, do we need intercessors and infiltrators? Like, could we not just have one of them? Because you can just play one of them. It frees up another 100 points to do something more meaningful. And then, yeah, I mean, like, I never field 2 squads of scouts. I feel like you field 1 squad of scouts and you get good at using them, right? Like, if your scouts are dying in turn 1 or 2, then you need to probably, like, you probably need to realize, like, your scout should never die. They should start obscured so the opponent can't shoot them. They should start far enough back that your opponent can't charge them. They should do a secondary or whatnot, and then you should lift them, and then you can, if you need to screen your backfield, you bring them into the backfield for a turn or 2 to screen, and then you aggressively deploy them with guerrilla tactics after that. But I think when I was playing my Angelic inheritors list that had 1 unit of scouts and the combi weapon lieutenant, maybe at the start those things were dying, but once I'd played it like 10 times, those things were not dying, and it's a case of, like, you probably need to do that a few times to learn, but, like, I don't think you want to spend like 170 points on basically the same stuff again, plus another 100 points on a backfield unit. And I really think you need to add, even if this was Raged Onslaught and not Liberator Assault Group, I really think you need to add another really powerful killing unit that can deal with high toughness enemies with lots of wounds. Because you don't have that much right now that will deal with high toughness enemies with lots of wounds. The Blade Guard will struggle because they only... I mean, they might not struggle, I guess, if you can give them lance. The Sanguinary Guard might not struggle. The Captain with his extra attacks might not struggle. But I just think, especially because you have no melee, it's like you could also just take away some of those units. Like, you could take away the infiltrators, a squad of scouts, and the Callous Assassin. You could almost add 2 tanks, right? Like, at that point, you're only 30 points away from adding like 2 Predator Destructors. And Predator Destructors are a really good tank for making their points back, just because they have really long range, like 72-inch las cannons, 48-inch auto cannons. They'll typically, it's pretty easy to make back 150 points with a Predator Destructor. But in worst case, the Destructor's got no target, you could do an action on it, I suppose. But I guess my point is, you've got no firepower. So you're going to be, your opponents, your team is going to be trying to pick you into matches where you dominate in melee. And where you win all the engagements in melee. But you only really have 2 fast-moving, good melee units. The 6 Sanguinary Guard are one of them. I mean, I don't even know if you could count the Blade Guard as fast-moving. So you only really have 1 fast-moving melee unit. So I think something needs to change here. And you know what? I mean, here's the thing. If you're not married to it and you've got time to practice, I would practice Rage Cursed, because Rage Cursed has like a 15% You're talking a 55% win rate against a 40% win rate. Like, that's the maths right now. So it's like, it's literally, what's 55 divided by 40? 55 divided by 40. It's literally 37% better across the board. So people that are playing Rage Cursed are just doing 37% better. I did an interview last week about a Rage Cursed list that did really well. I've got another interview coming out this week. I'm supposed to be interviewing the guy tomorrow night. About the guy that went like second at the Nottingham GT, 6 wins, 1 loss. He lost to the guy that actually won the whole tournament, the Super Major. He's playing Rage Cursed. So I've got that coming on the channel this week. So I'd probably start researching Rage Cursed and try and get some games under your belt. Because with Rage Cursed, you can throw 20 Death Company into the mix. And the 20 Death Company in that Rage Cursed are going to do so much damage, dude. Like, and if anything, I think Rage Cursed is even more all melee than Liberator Assault Group, right? Like, I think it's just going to do better. Where the hell are the tactical squads for the Blood Angels? They're chilling, man. They've been chilling for like 10 years, Matthew. You know they've been chilling. They're essentially waiting to fall to the Black Rage so they can get their, so they can paint their armor black and don a jump pack, right? Boris says, using scouts is definitely a learned skill. My scouts die nearly every game and early because I'm bad. Yeah, I really think that once you get good with scouts, you'll notice a massive... I think they have a high learning curve because they're a secondary scoring unit typically, or they're a screening unit. I love you too, Matthew. Thank you so much.
At Matthew Bark 6927 donated $20 via Super Chat. I love you, BA.
You know, I hope they, speaking of the Ball Predator, hold on. Speaking of the Ball Predator, look at this. So I have a Ball Predator, right? And it's the one that's got like the assault cannon on top and the bolters on the side. And I already ripped another one apart and used the bits to, because I had 2 of them with that. So I ripped another one apart to make my first Flamery version. And I was like, I want another Flamer version, but I don't want to buy one because it might go to Legends, right? So what I did this week is I've created a conversion kit. Look at this. You just lift the turret up a little bit like this. And then you insert the Flamer conversion kit. Boom. What about them apples? So now it's a Flamer Ball Predator with a heavy Flamer on top and 2 Land Raider Sponson Redeemers. Somebody said these were upside down. You're wrong. That is the correct way up. I live in Scotland, and in Scotland we do things backwards, I feel like. So it's absolute heresy. This I'm going to take this to a tournament. I have look, it's like the exact same dimensions. Look, it's the exact same length. Like there's no reason that this turret should be disqualified because it's the exact same length, correct? Yeah? You've got some of them lying around, dude. You've got everything lying around. Jesus. Well, I didn't have it lying around, and I didn't want to destroy this one because this model, because I didn't have, I already ripped the sponsons, like the spare sponsons I already had to jerry rig sponsons for the other one, so I just created this. Bit of super glue, bit of effort. This is Ball Predator number 2. I love it actually. Why the hell not, right? So that was my project this week. So it's ready. I think it's going to make its debut on the channel Wednesday night. Double Ball Predator. That's what I've been wanting to run. The Archmagos wants a meeting with you, Commander. Well, he's too busy on Mars, dude, so I'm fine. Isn't Mars actually cut off from Bal Secundus at the moment anyway because of the Great Rift? No? That's sick. Yeah, I I just found the Redeemer flavors in a box and I was like, I'm gonna do something. I'm going to make this happen. I don't care how bad it looks. I don't care how silly it looks. But by fluke accident, it's the exact same size as the legit turret. So I'm sure if they don't go Legends, Blood Angels remind you, I'll send you a kit. Dude, if they don't go Legends, I'll buy a kit. I'm really worried about buying stuff that's going to Legends. That's all it is. So yeah, I would, at the moment, RFB Hadley, at the moment, my channel, I think since December, has been all about Rage Cursed, right? Yeah, if you go like latest videos, where did the Rage Cursed stuff come out? Here. So this is a Rage Cursed video. This was like Rage Cursed. This was a painting video. Rage Cursed, a Rage Cursed winning list, and then how I did at a tournament playing Rage Cursed. So there's like 8 videos in the last 2 months. They're all pretty relevant. And probably in the next month, there's probably going to be like 3 or 4 more Rage Cursed, because that's what everybody is playing right now. So let's do that. Like, that's what I think you should aim to do. It's not that much different from Liberator Assault Group. The only thing that's maybe going to be massively different is, like, you're probably going to want to replace some of those jump intercessors with 3-man units of Sangre Guard. I think that's the big win here, right? Well, now you know I have 3 Ball Predators. I will not apologize for it. Yeah, I don't know if 3 would be the right number of Ball Predators to write. Matthew, that's super generous, by the way. You are super generous for the channel, dude. It's crazy. I appreciate it ever so much. But yeah, I think Liberator Assault Group is fine. I feel like if you're going to do all melee, you're probably better off doing Rage Cursed. But I think regardless, even if you want to do Liberator Assault Group, if you're going to do all melee and Liberator Assault Group, I feel like you should really have 10 Death Company and Lamartis. He's back with such a vengeance. So many people are running him. I think he scares opponents as well. Like, people know -1 damage Death Company. That's a scary proposition. So I think even if this is your Liberator Assault Group list, I'd be working. You know, what do we say? If we drop the Calidus Assassin and a unit of scouts and those intercessors or the infiltrators, and then like 1 unit of jump packs, you literally get Lamartis plus 10 Death Company in there. You probably have points to spare. You can rapid ingress them, and I think rapid ingressing them is just really, really strong. How do we feel about the Calidus? I mean, the Calidus is she's good for secondaries. She's good for vecting. Vecting is making opponents pay 1 more CP for their stratagems. I mean, occasionally I suppose she can kill something. She's not super durable. She probably has to be put into like a somewhat aggressive position because her vector is only 12 inches. I mean, people still take her. Is she amazing? Probably not. Is she useful? Yeah, probably. I mean, I think you just need to have a list, or you need to have something that she's going to really benefit you, right? But yeah, so I think that's about it for tonight, guys. Sorry, I'm super tired. I was driving for like 4 hours today. I had my kids away for the weekend. So, Wednesday night, we're playing against Necrons. I'm probably going to run double Ball Predator. I'm thinking about running some Death Company Dreadnoughts as well. Craziness. A lot of people have been asking me to make a 1,000-point Rage Cursed Onslaught video, so try and get that out on the channel this week as well. Friday, I'm going to try and have the interview from the 601 guy from the Nottingham GT. And then I think next week should return to normal. I'll be here, I'll be painting. I'll be live a little bit more because I was away at a tournament last weekend and I had my kids away for a little bit this weekend. So, cool. Sorry if the show started a bit late tonight. I do apologise. And sorry if my mind has been a bit scatterbrained tonight. I feel very tired. I don't know if I look tired, but I fucking feel tired. So, thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your weekend ever so much. Come hang out on Wednesday night and watch me flame the crap out of the Necrons with 2 Ball Predators. I've never played 2 Ball Predators. I don't know how that's going to go. I hope he doesn't just use those stupid Doomsday Arcs and shoot both of them straight off the board. That's going to be really rough. Doomsday Arcs must be like the perfect counter for Ball Predators. Fucking AP4. Man, I don't get why Necrons get AP4 with flat 4 damage. It's absolutely horrific. But I'll see you Wednesday. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great evening. If you do want your list in the future, stream, leave it in the comment section, and we'll get to you as soon as possible. Do you have a counter for the tank for the Doomsday Arcs? Not really. I hate Doomsday Arcs. Hold the Ball Predators in reserve. Interesting. I might have to. I don't know how else I assume the Doomsday Arcs just kill them in one shot. I'll ask you. I'll post my list in the members only channel before it's ready for Wednesday night, maybe, and you can tell me what you would put in reserves. But I'm going to be because I was thinking of playing Death Company Dreadnoughts just to give them a try. I don't know if they go in reserve as well. But yeah, I'll see you guys Wednesday night. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely evening. Take care. Tactical squads. That's it. That's the hidden. That is the strategy. We shoot a singular. What do tactical squads get? A single crack missile. We shoot that one crack missile at the Doomsday Arc, and that scares it ever so much. No, I don't know, man. Maybe one day tactical squads will be good again, but today is not the day. I'll see you guys later. Take care. Good night.